Hi, my name is Logan Lamb. I'll be doing my persuasive speech on the death penalty, also known as capital punishment, more commonly known as capital punishment. The death penalty has been around since the early 18th century BC. It started over in Europe, mainly Great Britain, and some of the main ways they went about it back then was boiling of a person, hanging, impalement, burning, beating people to death, drowning them to death, beheading of people. Almost just about anything you could think of as ways they went about the death penalty back then. And eventually it came over to what we know now as the United States, and the colonies had their own kinds of ways of going about it, but it was all influenced by Europe because they came over to us. And today we have a really dark society and you can't really trust anyone. It's really easy to hide your identity. You never know who somebody is and you never know if they're actually trustworthy. For this essay, or for this speech, I use the sources of the Mildred Johnson Library, a probation officer that I know, and deathpenalty.org. And I believe that the death penalty, or capital punishment, should be legal in every state, but ran by the federal government, so it is not as effective or as much money for the states. It's cost effective, it's fair, and it's stop violent crime. For the cost effective, I got this from the Mildred Johnson Library. It is very expensive to do the death penalty. However, overall, it is also very expensive to keep someone in prison for a very long time, and overall, in most cases, evens out. But in order to make it even more cost effective than it already is, we could lower the time of trial and the amount of money it costs to trial, the number of amounts of trials, and therefore it would be a lot less cost effective and more effective for the death penalty. I got the fairness from a probation officer that I interviewed in our interview, and they brought up an interesting point, kind of like an eye for an eye. If they murder someone, their life should also be taken, because that family is going to be affected for years and years to come of the murderer, but the murderer is going to be living off taxpayer dollars in a prison, going about their normal prison life, as a lot of other people do that don't do things nearly as bad as that. And then it would stop violent crime. I got this from deathpenalty.org. So overall, all the states that have death penalty have not yet seen a decrease. They've seen a decrease in murders in their state, but not as much as a decrease as states without the death penalty. However, many experts say that if every state were to have the death penalty, it would overall lower the number of murders in the USA, which is about 16,000 per year. And the death penalty overall should be legal in every state. It's cost effective, fair, and stops violent crime. How would you like it if your sister was murdered and the murderer was put in prison, not on the death penalty, but he escaped, or he was let out on good behavior and he was in society, and he would be able to commit that crime again, hurt your family again, hurt someone close to you again, hurt even a different family again? It just wouldn't be right.